suffering and things that adolescents do without being drug involved. So what we try to do is help parents to understand the health impact that drugs have on children. How do you recognize children that are beginning to move into that kind of behavior, and what are some steps you can take to prevent this?
Now, your organization has chapters all over the world and all over the country, as I understand it.
The amazing thing is how it's growing. We began in Atlanta 10 years ago with Pride, and today we have Pride Canada to Pride Australia, Pride Panama, Belize, etc. Countries throughout the world are beginning to do the same thing we're doing here. That is organizing communities to work with parents and kids at a very grassroots level, because that's where the behavior occurs. Now, you can work with government forever. Government can support and encourage what I'm talking about, encourage the educational process to take place firmly, working with law enforcement, with the judicial system, with the parents, with the schools. It has to be, because if we look at the society, those people who touch the lives of the children have to be the teachers. And we have to realize now that there's a lot of competition for the education of our children. Traditionally, we educated our child through the home, school, church, or synagogue. Today, at least half of that education is coming through television, music, movies, T-shirts, or bumper stickers. So if we want to compete with the new education, we've got to understand it and use it to our advantage.
Judge Kelley, for so many years, the emphasis in fighting, especially illegal drugs, has been on trying to arrest and jail drug dealers, drug pushers. But a lot of people always ask the question, you know, wouldn't these people go away if the market went away? Is that what you're really trying to get at?
Yes, indeed. Every user is a dealer. Every user that you see is dealing with his friends, is peer pressure. The user was the one who really needs help to realize it's wrong to do drugs. And until you can teach him that it is wrong and motivate him to learn that, you're going to have the drug problem. And that's what we're trying to overcome among the adult population of probationists. And I think that's the goal of the Pride organization in dealing with youngsters and trying to avoid the occasion of the use of the drugs unnecessarily.
Absolutely. What we're saying at Pride is that the drug user also must be under social scorn. If you'll notice today what's happening to cigarettes, you've got to sit in the back of the plane, the corner of the restaurant, and people are now asking you if they can smoke in your presence. Social pressure is bringing a decrease in this use. But today, it's fairly popular to smoke a joint, to use a line of cocaine on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. That kind of behavior has got to become absolutely unacceptable by the people of this nation.
How do you fight that, though, with the music, the movies, some of the things that you've already talked about, still, to a certain extent, glamorizing drugs?
They are still doing this to a certain extent, but you fight it from within. You go to the producer, you go to the writer, you go to the performer, and say, listen, what you're doing is detrimental to our country, to our nation, and to our people. We want you to take a look at this kind of writing, and this kind of a show, and this kind of production. And today we're getting more and more. Saturday Night Live would be an example that the drug jokes have decreased. We're watching Bob Hope not make jokes about the nose and cocaine. We're watching that begin to happen on television. We're watching people become more responsible in TV programming and movie making. Now, by no means do I mean we're there yet, but you go from within, and you appeal to the good sense and the hearts of the people of America.
Of course, before it became fashionable to put these things in the movies, I remember the Superfly era and the movies of that type that began to come out about 15, 18 years ago. But even before that, there was sort of in the culture of the musicians and actors and the artist community, if you will, there was a lot of drug use, and it sort of became cool from the inside out. How do you fight that kind of situation? I mean, even if you can get it off the mass media, how do you discourage it among some of these movers and shakers of the way we think, even politicians in this day and age?
Sure. I'm not sure that I am sure. We will never get it all out of the culture. What we're saying, though, we need to bring drug use to a level in which we can at least survive it. The health cost alone is it's playing havoc right now with your healthcare system. There are thousands of young people out here in their 20s and 30s who are floating around. They're changing jobs. They're in and out of the mental health institutions. They get a little care, a little treatment, and they're out on the street again. We call them the new drifters. Now, they're bright people, but they're not going to be very productive in their long-term, in life over the long term. So that's where we're going to have to pay a price.